How very 2021 of me. I left myself on mute right as I click go live. Very, very typical. Happens several times a day, so no surprises there. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another session of Fireside Fridays. Got a really interesting session planned today. We're going to bring in Diarmait O'Reilly, who is Chief of Staff for Product and R&D at Verizon Connect. Diarmait is the man with the grandest title in all of Verizon. Okay, so we'll have a little bit of a chat about that and what that means. But the reason I say this is an interesting one, I say that in front of every speaker we talk to, but the reason I say this is interesting is Diarmait isn't hiring right now, and we're not necessarily going to be talking about recruitment, right? So that's a little bit of a change. But what I think we should do is talk about the one thing that, in my experience at least, people never seem to talk about during interview processes, and that's what's in it for me over the longer term. What goes beyond the gig? You know, what's next? What's the journey? What are the opportunities? What can you guys do for me? What can I get exposed to, and how can I develop and learn over time? So we're going to talk about all things tech and the journey. So let's bring Diarmait in here now. Diarmait, you are live. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Corey. You can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah. Loud and clear. Lighting is perfect. You're very finely presented and well turned out today. So no.
Yeah, I got my haircut this morning. You know, brushed my teeth. Yeah, the whole 9 yards, ready to go. You know.
Good. Right. So I'll give you a little bit of a laugh on that. One of the guys on my team, Keith. You know Keith McClelland. He does some of the Fireside Friday chats. Well, Keith likes to treat himself, and he's off work today. But
right.
He, on the WhatsApp group, he sent us a message of what he's up to right now. And it's an image that it's seared into my mind forever now of Keith McClelland lying back like this with a purely white face mask, and he's off to get his manicure next.
All right.
Yeah, so getting the haircut is okay.
Yeah, I didn't go that far. Not quite manicure, but, you know, try to look my best for my live appearance here today.
For your public, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just described you. I don't know if you could hear me there before we came on, but yeah. So I described you as the man with the grandest title in all of Verizon, Chief of Staff for Product R&D in Verizon.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one, Pork. I guess it kind of reflects, you know, partially the kind of journey over the years, right? That I've had working initially for Fleetmatics and now Verizon Connect. And you know, it's a kind of a catch-all term. You know, I work closely with John Malanphy, Chief Operation and Product Officer, and his leadership team, you know, working on kind of orchestrating and kicking off a number of different initiatives and projects, and just kind of working with that leadership team to keep us all aligned around key things that we're trying to do. It's definitely not a role, right, that I ever heard of, right, until you know, John made up the term. And it's certainly not something that, you know, I set out to do, right? You know, I didn't sit down and say one day I want to be. You know, it's just one of these things that's evolved over the years. You know, working for Verizon Connect. And I guess, you know, maybe that's something, you know, we've been chatting earlier that people might be interested in. You know, I joined, you know, 6.5 years ago now as a technical project manager.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time, you know, the company was growing. We're based in Tala. It was an interesting role for me. I'd worked in a number of different organizations prior to that as a project manager, and then earlier again as a developer. You know, either with companies where we were doing software integration, you know, maybe like a bank, right, where you're not building software, you're bringing it in and integrating it, and then with companies that were building software. And so Fleetmatics was a return to, you know, building software. And what was really interesting in those days was that, you know, we were the first TPMs that were hired in, right? It was a new role. And although there was a vision for how that role would work, it was up to the people who joined to kind of shape it, right? Like myself and Alan Byrne, you talked to previously, and Gary, Trina, there's a whole bunch of people, Peter Duggan. And then, you know, we work tightly aligned with the development teams, working on, helping them deliver software, right? Helping them deliver product, but also looking at process improvement and the way that we work. And for me, that was something that I was very much interested in, right? That whole kind of lean and agile approaches and how we can work more effectively as a team. And that evolved over the years then, right? Like that became something more that I did, right? And took on a role in terms of, we had external trainers in that really good, right? Great material, very supportive during our initial period of our lean transformation. But over time, then a group of us took on the role of being, the lean trainers, right? So that's a kind of an example of, like, you're still doing your day job, you
Yeah.
have this interest, right? You're showing this capability, it gets noticed. You're given opportunities to apply that, and then maybe you carve out a bit of a role for yourself, right? And mightn't be everything you do, but it starts to become a significant part of what you do. And that's something like today, we actually just started off another iteration of the Lean Primer with another group of new joiners. The trainers are across Dublin, Ireland, and Florence, right, for the European teams. And we have folks, based in Florence and Dublin taking the training. And the previous iteration, we were delivering the training to guys that are in the States as well. And then we've colleagues in New Zealand who do a similar role. It's like that's what that's what's kept me interested in the years working with Verizon Connect, is that, sometimes, people talk about maybe like there's a 3-year cycle to different jobs that you do, right?
Yeah.
You master it in the first year, you kind of get on top of it then in the second year, and then in the third year, maybe you've kind of plateaued and you start to feel, maybe a bit stale, or,
Yeah.
do I need to do something else here? But, I've been fortunate that, different opportunities have presented themselves, over my period working with Fleetmatics and Verizon Connect. And, that's not just me, right? Alan Byrne, I know you were talking to him previously.
Yeah.
He was a TPM program manager, and now is a dev manager, right, working in lean delivery. Peter Duggan, was a TPM as well, worked on our video ELD, and now is a dev manager as well, right? So people take different journeys, right? You get hired into one role, if you show capability and you show enthusiasm, other things open up for you. And that's definitely been the case for me. And
Doesn't hurt. I mean, you're mentioning people like Trina Harris, Alan, Peter Duggan. Doesn't hurt being surrounded by smart people, right? They're like, I would rate all of those people as being highly passionate about what they do. They have a holistic interest in the company. They're not just in the trenches, focused on one thing. Peter Duggan, recent conversations with him, the care. He cares about every person he works with. He cares about the business. I'm talking about Peter, but everybody is the same, right?
Yeah. Look, that's definitely one of the core kind of cultural things about, Verizon Connect. And it certainly struck me when I joined. Not saying the other companies that I worked for previously weren't also good places to work, right? But there was a culture around Verizon Connect, that came from the top, really, right, from Peter and John, right, which was this sense of, like, camaraderie. We're in it together, move fast, but be caring, right, for other people. In fact, it's one of the key tenets in my annual review, right? Like, it's, being a careful, thoughtful leader, right? So it's definitely something that's out there. And then the other thing you kind of mentioned there as well, and there's so many names you could mention. If I've left anyone out, I apologize, right? But there's a lot of kind of self-organizing groups, within Verizon Connect, right? Where people have a passion or an interest around something, and they kind of find each other, right? And then they start moving forward with things. And often, you're not 100% sure, am I doing the right thing here? Are we going to be able to turn the needle on this? But over time, right, in different endeavors, right, changes have come about, right? Initially, for me, it was like lean transformation, Kanban, and all of that kind of area. I know people have been involved in Coder Dojo, and that came on board. Some of us got involved with different meetups, right? Ali and, Lean Agile Tour and stuff like that, presented at it, got that opportunity, was encouraged by the company, given the time to do it. We buy tickets, we send people to these things, right? It's good for them, right? And it's good for the company, right? It creates visibility around it. And then, the volunteering piece, right? That's been really big the last couple of years.
Huge.
Yeah. And was really, I found it personally really helpful during, the initial periods of lockdown, right? We did things like, the group walks, you go out for a walk for half an hour, you open up the meeting channel, right? You have a chat, and you're staying in contact with people, right? You see the pictures on our internal Slack channels of, the teams getting together and going out cleaning up beaches and whatnot, right? So it's real, right? Like, people enjoy working with each other by and large, right? They enjoy doing these things together, right? And you're given those opportunities to pursue those things, right? And advance your career, right? And so
it's great for flattening hierarchies out as well, right? I had one of the there's actually a comment here from one of the team. Keith, he's talking about all of the leaders you're naming off, and these will be stakeholders that he interacts on a daily basis. But Keith McClelland is actually a great example of that person who came into the business relatively new to the business, although he had recruited outside in agency for Verizon Connect and Fleetmatics over the years, but not in the business a wet week, and he's out doing litter picks with Nick Power and his group, and making friends with developers, people up through development management, the CTO of the business, and they're all having a bit of fun, but they're doing something that actually impacts society. It's beyond the day job, right?
Yeah. And look, there's a number of like self-organized groups as well. The one that I'm most familiar with is like the hill walking group, right? Now, obviously, it's slightly impacted by COVID and lockdown and all the rest, right? But it was something that a couple of us that were interested in hill walking, we set it up. It's not particularly formal, right? It's a Slack channel. Somebody's going out who wants to come. Nick Power is a big advocate of it, right? But we did walks where Peter came along, right? So
Brilliant.
And it's not advertised that way. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just, people go out and then suddenly there's somebody there, right? And you can have a chat with them if you want, right? Or not if you don't want, right? And, we went out on night walks, we went out during the day. Nick's organized one for next Tuesday. We're going up to Hellfire Club. So there's a social aspect to it, right? There's people coming together who have common interests. Some of those things are great for, we're a multinational company, we're a global company. With a real local kind of heart to it, right? And people who come, who are new to Ireland, places like, activities like that are great, right? They get to meet people, they get to go to new areas. You might be nervous about going out into the hills, but you're going with someone who knows what they're doing, right? That's not me, that's Nick, right?
Nick's the hell. So you're admitting Nick knows what he's doing now. He's going to
And when it comes to hill walking, right? He can put one foot in front of the other, right? And not triple.
Yeah. Well, we had look. I mean, that kind of thing is, when you're talking about things like diversity, equity, inclusion, and that sort of thing. My new term for that now, after the big diversity event we hosted last year, Diversified in 21, is it's actually conscious inclusion. And Magda Irizarry, the Chief Diversity Officer for Verizon, kind of led us down this journey talking about diversity to the point where we said, look, it's not just about including people anymore or having an environment where people could be included. It's about conscious inclusion. Set the environment up where when people join the business, they're included, and they have the option, and you invite them, and you're consciously doing that. And I'm flagging my Love Hack Innovation t-shirt here. We had the Love Hack finals this week, right? And everybody rowing in together, these self-forming groups where they start to conceive ideas, they're ideating and putting potentially new products, services, tools
Yeah. I
into
mean,
place.
the Dove Hack is and the whole hackathon piece is like another real cultural thing, right? Like it really helps define who we are. This year I got involved in terms of being an advisor to two of the teams that were based here in Dublin, and it was great, right? Like it's an opportunity. You step outside the day job, you get to meet up with folks that some of whom you've known for years, some brand new to you, right? You get to know them, they get to know you. There's an amazing buzz around the place. It's great fun, right? I have my hackathon t-shirt on, but it was just a little bit cold here, so I ended up putting my jumper back on.
So turn the heating up, Dermot.
I'm trying to save a few pounds,
Inflation's going up, right?
Yeah, exactly, and the environment, but
yeah.
you know what I mean. So the hackathon was great, and like myself and yourself, Porrick, kind of through randomness of events, right? We got involved in a couple of different things around diversity as well, and the different programs, the trainees and stuff like that, right? And like none of it was necessarily our day job, right? It just happened to be something that we were both interested in. We both had contacts with different groups. We chatted to each other. There's a wider kind of self-organizing group around that. We meet up once a month. We talk through different approaches that we could do. We don't get too carried away with ourselves and how much we can do, right? But we do our own little piece, right? And we work together, and you get the blessing of senior management, right? And they back you when you try to do these things. So
I think the diversity working group, the Verizon Connect diversity, we should formalize that title now, right? And
brand
it, folks. We're branding it now, the Verizon Connect diversity working group. But that happened almost by happenstance, right? It was a confluence of different people with almost segmented interests in the same topic, D and I, for different reasons. I think you and I maybe are a little bit similar. We know it's the right, from a commercial perspective, we know it's the right thing to do. And I tend to look at the numbers and take it very seriously. And I'm a student of things like leadership and corporate entrepreneurship in particular. And I know what can happen when you have groupthink. I know what can happen when you have a lack of diversity of thought, right? So
absolutely. And I'm involved with scouting, right, outside of work, and we're a mixed gender organization, right? There's young leaders there, and they're all equally talented, right? And it just seems wrong that you wouldn't look to develop that and push it and bring it forward and support it where you can, right? So it's kind of a no-brainer, right? But it's funny the way that sometimes you do need to actually take action, right? You need to take positive action to bring about change, right? So that's something that I've personally, I'm not claiming huge authorship of it, right? It's a small percentage of my time, but it's just another example where if you have an interest, if you have a passion, if you're able to make the time to do it, right, as well as delivering your day job, you can create spaces for yourself, and you can get opportunities to develop as an individual. And another thing, I guess, Porrick, is that most of the people that you've had on here have been hiring managers, right? And often people have that view of a career, which is I go in as a developer, and then I become a squad lead, and then I become a dev manager, and so on and so forth, right? But I'm an individual contributor, right? Nobody reports to me. I feel I've progressed my career loads within Verizon Connect, right? And I think I've developed my leadership talents. They're in a different area, they're in different aspects, right? But the opportunities are there. You get to learn from the people that you're working with, over the years. Working alongside, Connor Winders, Francois, and Ian Black, a whole bunch of people that you've had an opportunity to work with over the years. you learn from them, you get an opportunity then to apply that, and you can carve out your own space, right? You can develop your own career, right? And I guess that's something that, I kind of maybe realized at some point during my time working here, right, was that, you develop your own career, you find your own opportunities, you look after your own training to a degree, right? There's lots of opportunities, but you've got to go take them, right? And make the most of them when you get a chance.
Yeah. It's really interesting when you think about it like that. Just that difference between the hiring manager and being an individual contributor. And I'm going to try and connect the dots here, right? So you shout me down if I go off piece
Okay.
a little bit too far. But what you're talking about is somebody who has. And hang on a minute. Just thinking back, you didn't just start out as a TPM. I think, if I remember correctly, and I may be wrong here, but you didn't even study technology originally, right?
No, I studied geology.
Okay, so there's a journey start, right? From
Yeah,
geology into development to
yeah,
TPM into connecting the dots. And let's be real about this. What you have started to do in a big way over time is build the business as well. You're building your career, but you're building a business as well. I know Alan Byrne is watching, and you himself and yourself, I think you've got lean primer training coming up very soon, right? But
yeah. We
that
started.
and that's building the future career for new hires that are joining the business. And to go back to the diversity working group again, actually, I'm not sure if I told you this, but one of the one of the key focuses for us is diversity hiring, and we go out and we try to find people who think differently and bring them in. But we had a person who recently joined the business, Preeti Bala, and Preeti Preeti, right? So Preeti has come in, and she's now joined the diversity working group as well. But we did a LinkedIn live event with Preeti, relatively new to the business, passionate about diversity, starts getting this holistic thing, and brings her diversity message to a recent live video we did.
Right.
And on the back of that, just last week, I think we've actually made a hire from people that she was connected to. So it's a direct outcome from conscious inclusion and diversity in your DNA somehow, whether it's commercial, whether it's you live that way, with the stuff you're doing in the community, or whether you're in an underrepresented group and want change, So there's real commercial outcomes there, whether it's career or building a business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, everything you said is correct, right? It's, we get an opportunity. We're really lucky, right? We get an opportunity to meet all the new joiners, right? Delivering the lean primer. And I've never worked in a more diverse company than Verizon Connect, right? In terms of just people from all over the world, right? And it's great experience for me, right? Coming from my background, from my generation, right? Meeting people from all over the world, new cultures, different outlooks, and I've learned loads from it, right? So it works both ways, right? Like I learn as much from people from different cultures and backgrounds as they potentially learn from me, right? It's great. I love it, right? And another aspect is we're a global company. As we became into Verizon Connect, different organizations came together, and you get to forge new friendships and new connections, right? I've met people, part of the lean transformation piece, from our office in Atlanta, right? Olivia, who worked on home at the time, right? But we still chat once a month, right? We get a lot out of that, right? The guys down in New Zealand, worked very closely with them when I was part of connected product and product delivery. Lots of guys there that I regard as friends, right? And you get an opportunity to travel sometimes as well, if that's something you're interested in. But you get to work with people from around the world. At the moment, I tend to work a lot with the folks in the States, and like it's always interesting, right? You're on a call, where are you? Oh, Florida. Oh, look at the palm trees, and actually, yeah, last year we
the
did.
sun in the back, the sun, that bright shiny thing in the background that we don't.
The rain is hammering down here, and like maybe an interesting anecdote as we wrap up, right? But Katie Bly, who we worked with, and she led us on a couple of these volunteering walks. We were out for a walk one day. I'm walking along beside the canal here in Salons, and taking a picture of a couple of swans, and then Katie's like, "Oh yeah, look, there's an alligator," right? So
I forgot.
She's out for a walk,
yeah.
right? So like, where would you get that, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was out for a walk this morning with somebody, and they were chasing an alligator away. So there's great opportunities. You get to meet people, you get new skills, you get opportunities to apply your own learnings, and you learn, right? And you don't have to be sometimes we can trap ourselves in that idea, right? And my career is progressing because I now manage X people.
Yeah.
But your career can progress because you're influencing a lot of people, that you're getting an opportunity to work with the leaders of your organization. Like, I love my job, right? I get to expose to all sorts of things that I never thought I'd be doing, right? And now we're more in the kind of commercial operations, customer-centric transformation. When I joined, software development was all I thought I'd be doing, right? And now I do all sorts of things. So I think it's fantastic, and it's a great opportunity for anybody to come on board and just progress their careers if they have the drive to do it, if they want to do it. It's there.
That's it, isn't it? You have to, and I think you said this about at the beginning of the chat. You said it about learning. You have to take ownership of this yourself.
Yeah.
But if you've got that intrinsic driver inside you, the drive to do it, the opportunity or the platform is there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, that's really cool. So when I was putting together my little LinkedIn post to say going live at 12, I wanted to say we're going to pull the veil back a bit here and talk about something different, because when people are going for interviews, they're so laser focused on skills, experience, competencies, and and very often people forget to ask the question about what happens after day one and year one and year two and year three. So I think you've given a phenomenal insight to your own journey, but also some of the possibilities and the lives you can touch. I mean, you're talking about working with people globally, enacting change, making things happen yourself, having a platform where you can make things happen yourself. So that's phenomenal. Thanks a million for taking the time to have a chat with me, Diarmait. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I ask everybody this question at the end, and I didn't tell you I'd ask this, so you have to do it on the fly, right?
Okay.
But who should we talk to next?
I maybe someone like Lisa Donnelly, or like been around a while, product side. I think has had quite a diverse career here as well, right? And has progressed her career amazingly in the years that I've seen, right? Instigator of 2 new product lines, so I think that would be a very interesting person to talk to if you want to give that flavor of here are the opportunities that you can have in Verizon Connect.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, no, that's Lisa is a class act. So Lisa, if you're watching, which hopefully you are, we're coming for you. Get ready. We'll do a live session at some stage. Diarmait, you're welcome, Lisa. Yeah. That voluntold, right? She's been voluntold. So all right. So the man with the grandest title in all of Connect. Thanks, Diarmait. Happy Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, folks, there you have it. That was a phenomenal chat with Diarmait. I'll tell you, from working alongside Diarmait on the diversity working group, he's got more passion than most human beings I know, and he's totally and utterly understated, even though he's got the grandest title in all of Verizon Connect. Hopefully that pulls the veil back a little bit for you. I think it's important to understand what your career options are and what possibilities are there for you, the type of platform you could have to actually craft out a niche for yourself, a career for yourself beyond the black and white of a job description, right? Worst documents in the world for telling you about opportunity and possibility and magic. But there's a little bit from Diarmait. So as always, happy Friday. We'll be back next Friday. And for now, we'll leave you with our Credo video.
From where we work to where they live. From our technology to supporting theirs. From each and every one of us to each and every one of them. Everything we do affects everything they do. That's why how we work, what we believe, our values make all the difference.
We share our success with the community
to make the world in which we work better than it was yesterday.
We keep our commitments to each other and our customers.
We know teamwork enables us to serve our customers better and faster.
We focus outward on the customer, not inward.
Our actions produce measurable results.
We run to a crisis, not away.
We are committed to doing the right thing.
This is our credo. Our guide to what really matters. How we stay connected to each other and to them. We are Verizon.